Yo, what's going on, man? Today is March the 24th, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the Casted with Chris NBA betting show / podcast where we try to get to some early money, man. I know it's a lot of games today, but the books are asleep. If we're being honest, the books are asleep, man. So not a lot of lines posted. It is 7 a.m. on the East Coast, and always forget to do this on the intro, but the podcast is presented to you guys by the Basketball Forever Podcast Network. As always, be sure to check out the Basketball Forever Podcast Network on just all different platforms. There's a lot of different podcasts going over there by a lot of great guys. So check them out over there. Also, check out the show. If you guys have not checked the show out on podcast streaming platforms as well, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm recording the pod. So definitely check out the pod, Apple Podcasts, Spotify pod, wherever you guys are listening to your podcast at. So definitely check out the pod. Hit the like button for me as well if you guys, as you guys join on YouTube. Greatly appreciated. And let's get into it for today. So quick recap of yesterday. I did have the Knicks on the money line. I talked to you guys about not specifically tailing that play on Casted. I didn't do a Casted with Chris yesterday, but the recap is going to be for the Crispy Cap and NBA show. So I did take the Knicks early yesterday morning. Actually, it wasn't even yesterday morning. It was Wednesday night. When the line first came out, they were -2.5 without Brunson being ruled out. They did not get the job done. That's 3 straight losses for the Knicks last night. Didn't kind of, advise people to take them without Brunson being in just because they were on the second leg of a back-to-back. And he kind of just kind of facilitates their offense and make it run the way that it's supposed to. Running the offense through Julius Randle, I'm not 100% sure I want to do that yet if I'm a Knicks fan. Without having Brunson there. So that did not cash yesterday with the Knicks. But Charlotte and New Orleans, under 225 did come through. Charlotte pulled a bunch of their guys in the second half and didn't play them. So that ended up being a non-sweat after scoring a lot of points in the first half. Then I also talked about my best bet of the day, which being OKC and the Clippers to go under the 232.5, and that was a sweat. I fell asleep on the game, I'm being honest with you guys, but I woke up, saw the cash in my account, and I was happy. Finished right at 232 points. So 2-1 day yesterday on the plays that I did share. Also mentioned a couple plays that I was going to tell that were shared in the YouTube chat that also cashed yesterday. Mikal Bridges and Donovan Mitchell to both scored 25 points cashed. That was a +209, I think it was. So shout out to whoever dropped that in the chat. As soon as they dropped it, I absolutely loved it. Said I was going to write it down and like that one for sure. So let's move along to today. So first game up, and I know I'm still going pretty slow, at least on my end. I'm going pretty slow over here. Not 100% sure why, but I want to touch on 2 games for today so far. Because like I said, we don't have lines for a lot of games. We don't have totals for a lot of games. Not sure why the books are sleeping in so much today, man. I know it's a lot of injury stuff going on, but we are starting to slowly get lines. We got San Antonio, Washington with a total of 230.5 points, it looks like, on DraftKings. That's a high total. I think I'm probably going to look towards the under on that. I'm just kind of capping it live. The San Antonio Spurs will be without a couple of their guys. They will also, the Washington Wizards also will be without Bradley Beal and be without Kyle Kuzma for this game. So I like that total to go under. And I love when I'm doing the show and the totals start to come out. So it looks like 235 for Indiana and Boston. Boston laying 11.5 at home. But we don't have a lot of totals. We only have 3 totals on the board right now. Houston and Memphis game has a total in a line for that game, but we don't have a lot. So let's go with what we do have. So I'll tell you guys what I'm looking at. First game I want to touch on is this Bulls and the Blazers game. So the Bulls will be traveling to Portland, take on the Trailblazers today. I actually started this one opened at a +1 for Chicago yesterday when I started to cap this game in the middle of the day. Of course, that was before the injury news came out. And it's injury news on both sides, right? Chicago Bulls, start with them. DeMar DeRozan is listed as questionable. I did see that he made the trip. And I also read something from Vucevic saying that, it was kind of precautionary reasons. The game had kind of got out of hand. So there was no need to kind of put him back into the game. The quote exactly was that it's not a lot of concern about DeRozan. So the quote said, quote, I think he's feeling okay, Vucevic said. It's just something that kind of comes and goes through. Though DeMar did miss 3 games with a quad strain in January, he didn't want to force it too much the way the game was going. He's a tough guy and plays through a lot of stuff, so I think he'll be fine. So, end quote. So I think I think DeRozan will be in for this game. Of course, Caruso I think is also listed as questionable, but I'm cool with Caruso being in. I'm cool with him being out. Um, he left that game, DeRozan did, but he'll be back. So big game for the Bulls. The Bulls are in the final play-in spot in the Eastern Conference, but they are only 1.5 games behind, 1.5 games in front of the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers just got a big win the other day in Toronto to kind of keep their playoff hopes alive. So big game for the Bulls. Like I said, they are on the inside, but they're close to the outside in that 10th seed. I got a system play. So system play says that since the start of the 2019 season, home dogs that lost by 15 points or more in their previous game with a spread of 2 points or less, and then are now road favorites in the next game, 16-8 straight up, and against the spread, 66.7% says to take the road favorite in this spot. Road dogs are winning those games by average of 6 points, and we do have a little bit of value on that because the line is only two right now. I think that the line moves throughout the day. You look at the last 2 weeks, 2 week stats. They tell me that Portland has been the worst points per 100 possession differential. They have the worst points per 100 possession differential at minus 27.2. They also rank 29th in points per possession. Their offense is kind of took a dive off a cliff. They're 25th in effective field goal percentage. On the defensive side, they're also 29th in points per possession allowed and 29th in opponent effective field goal percentage. They will also be without Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons. Those guys have already been rolled out. I also think that they got a big win. So I know that they're going to be motivated in the spot, but they did get a win the other day. A bunch of the role players coming in playing, over their head. I know Shadon Sharp played extremely well in that game against Utah, but Utah doesn't have any defense, which is why I couldn't lay the points where Utah is a home favorite. And I think the Bulls bringing on the defensive end, after the slide against the Philadelphia 76ers in a nice little letdown spot for them. So all of those things taken into consideration, I did lay the 2 points with the Chicago Bulls here in this game. And that's going to be the first best bet of the day is the Chicago Bulls. Now moving along to, let me see what y'all saying in the comment section real quick. What up to my guy Zachariah? Damon, what's going on? Good morning to you. What up? And Arthur said good morning from VA. What part of VA you in, Arthur? Appreciate you being here, man. Tapping in with me. Smokey Steambet said leaning Kings tonight. I think the Suns might be bet against here down the stretch. I'm actually about to get into that game, Smokey. I am about to get into that game just a second. Jabari Smith Jr. over 1.5 threes, minus 102. Corey, I cannot talk you off. Dude is playing with a lot of confidence. I love Jabari Smith Jr. Game. This dude, he gonna be nice. He gonna be really, really nice if people watching him play. Damian said Dame points under 35.5 tonight. Damian could get that Patrick Beverly treatment tonight. I'm not 100% sure if it happens, but we know Pat loves to play against Damian Lillard. I'm pretty sure he's going to be fired up in this one. Pat also had a terrible game in his last game against the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't think he scored a point. I don't think I know he had a negative plus minus, and those are the things that keep Pat up at night. So I don't think that Dame's gonna be at home. He's not gonna have a lot of help, but he was kind of facilitating in the last game. I know he had a double. He did finish with 30 points, but didn't get to his 34.5, 30. I think he was at 34.5, 36.5, something like that last game. So kind of hard to bet a Dame under, but I think it's a good spot to do so with the guards that the Bulls have. So I couldn't talk you off of that then. Next game up, I want to touch on real quick, and it's the game that Smokey Steam talked about. And that's the Suns and the Kings. Line in this one, I saw it open on DraftKings yesterday. So DraftKings, if you guys aren't 100% aware, DraftKings does have the lines at the earliest times. Like they are going to put out a line. So for myself anyway, at least in Virginia, where I have access to about 15 different sports books, DraftKings always is the book that has the best line. So getting into the Suns and the Kings game. So you get the Phoenix Suns coming in here. This team has been ice cold recently, and I've been kind of talking about this one for a while now. I think let's hold on. Let me pull some up real quick. I think looking at the Phoenix Suns, I talked about this about 2 weeks ago when they were trying to play competitive basketball against the uh, the Sacramento Kings the last time these two teams played. The Philadelphia 76 the trade really hurts them, and you can kind of see it right now because this team um, they need KD, and that's who they traded away a lot for Kevin Durant, right? So now you're essentially trying to get a win, trying to stay afloat in the Western Conference. It's a good thing that they had the seeding that they had, but this Kings team should be extremely motivated in this spot. So Phoenix on one side is 5-5 in their last 10, only 4-6 against the spread, really struggling because they've been playing against a lot of upper echelon type opponents. I don't know if I would say that about the Lakers, but they're coming off a game, where they felt like they didn't get the whistle against the Lakers. They lost that game by 11 in LA. Lost to OKC as well by 4 points. They beat the Orlando Magic, but on the road you should be able to. When Orlando's on the road, you should be able to do that. And they only beat them by 3. It didn't cover that spread either. Then they lost to the Bucks, lost to Golden State, lost to Sacramento. So 0-5 against this. I'm sorry, 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games, with the only win coming against the Orlando Magic. So I do not like the spot for them here tonight. I think they're catching a motivated Sacramento team that's also coming off a 2-game losing streak. They lost outright in their last game of that 5 or 6 game road trip against the Utah Jazz, and then in a letdown spot. And then of course they got manhandled by the Boston Celtics earlier this week. So now you get the more rested team. I got 2 days of rest to only 1 day of rest for the Phoenix Suns. I think this is another really good spot for the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento does have a game tomorrow, but they're just looking to take on the Utah Jazz. And I think it's probably a spot where they get their revenge against the Utah Jazz as well. You look at Phoenix. Phoenix also has a game tomorrow. They play against the Philadelphia 76ers, so not the best spot for them. They'll also be home for that game. So first game of a road home back-to-back for this for this Phoenix Suns team. System play tells me that since the start of the 2019 season, when a home favorite of 3 points or more is coming off a home loss as a dog, but they're facing a team that they previously beaten already, and that team is also coming off a loss after the All-Star break, those teams are 17-4 straight up, 14-7 against the spread. Another 66.7% trend that backs the Sacramento Kings today. Those teams are winning those games by an average of 10 points in that spot. You also look at the Suns. Aiden is already been ruled out in this game. The spread has moved from 3.5 up to 4.5. I did play it at 3.5, but I also probably will play it again at 4.5 because I didn't get it on all books at the 3.5 number. So Aiden being out, the Suns have struggled to slow down their opponents in their recent games with and without him. Offensively, I looked at some numbers. The Suns are 26 in points per 100 possessions over the last 2 weeks and 26 in effective field goal percentage. They just don't have enough offense outside of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Aiden, who they don't even have, but a lot of inconsistencies on that bench. And, just amongst their other starters as well. Their defense is also tailed off. They're 24th in points allowed per 100 possessions and 24th in opponent effective field goal percentage. So for all of those reasons, I do like this game. I do like the Kings on the side. I think money probably comes in on the Kings. I don't think that the line closes at 4.5. I could actually see it closing more so 5.5. So I do like that to go. I like that play a lot. I did lay the points with the Kings as well. Like I said, I took them at a 3.5. I also took them at a 4.5 this morning when it opened up on another sports book as well. So those are my two best bets of the day. I'm gonna go through the comment section real quick because those are the two games that I really like today. I'm gonna also put that at the bottom so you guys can see what those bets are. Chicago minus the 2, hopped on them early, and also Kings minus the 4.5. Not to say that it won't be a motivated spot for the Suns here after feeling like they probably got cheated in the last game, but Kings will also be motivated. They kind of the ties are starting to shift a little bit with the Suns and the Kings. The Suns won't have enough offense to be able to slow down this Kings team. If you want to pivot, know we talked about this recently. If you want to pivot, you could look at the Kings team total to go over as well. That line hasn't even opened yet, but I could not talk anybody off. Just pivot into a team total over for the Sacramento Kings. When they win, they typically go over. I just kind of gave you guys the numbers with the Phoenix Suns being bottom 6, bottom 7 last 2 weeks in opponent effective field goal percentage and opponent points per possession allowed. So that's what I got for you guys. 50 people watching right now. Y'all hit the like button for me if you guys can. Also check out the pod. Leave me a 5-star review. It will be available about 10 minutes after I am completely finished here. And there's also a link in the description if you guys are watching on YouTube so you guys can find the pod. You can type in Cashed It with Chris, or you can just type in Crispy Captain, 2 P's, 2 N's, and the pod should pop up. And those are the 2 best bets that I got for you guys. I want to go through the comment section real quick before I get up out of here. Let's see. Got in late, but looking at the first quarter lean on Golden State, can you look up Warriors first quarter trends after a 5-game road trip? Yeah, I actually looked at that, man. I actually looked at that because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to play that game. The only reason I'm not talking about that game a little bit more is because I'm not 100% sure if James Harden is going to play or not. We know that he didn't play in the last game with that Achilles injury. Also, Philadelphia is on the first leg of a back-to-back game here as well. I saw the spread open at 2.5 in favor of Golden State, and it shot up to 5. So to me, that tells me that Harden may not play. I think Embiid. I saw 2 reports came out about Embiid. Embiid, he left that game at halftime, but he really just didn't need to come back against the Chicago Bulls the other day. One report said that he will play in this game tonight against the Golden State Warriors. Another report said that he was listed as questionable. So MVP, candidacy on the line. This is also the NBA TV game tonight, so it is nationally televised. I mean, it's not like TNT or ABC, but it is going to be on NBA TV tonight. It's a tough game because, like you said, man, I'll look it up. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. I'm not gonna look it up right now, but shoot me a DM on Twitter and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after the 5-game road trip. How the Warriors do. To me, it just feels like a game where the Warriors need. We know that they play a lot better at home. I'm not fading the Philadelphia 76ers right now, though. This team is hot. I don't like that they're on the first leg of a back-to-back and that the Warriors can kind of exert all of their energy because they're not on the first leg of a back-to-back. So I got some more digging to do on that game, but it's probably a game where I'm probably going to stay off for the side. Don't want to fade Philly, even though they are on the first leg of a back-to-back. But like I said, I got a little more digging to do on that game. Let's see. Corey Carr says Suns are a fade team right now but because they need a win and Kings are fire offensively, the over might be in play. Yeah, I can see that. If they can get some guys to step up, Corey, they gonna need somebody else to score outside of Devin Booker because even if he gets you 30, it might not be enough. Triple B said without KD, Mikal, Cam, and Jay Crowder, the Suns have no one that can hit a 3 consistently other than Booker, and Booker has been shooting less 3s as of late. That's what I just kind of talked about, Triple B. I just talked about that. Corey said Jazz and Bucks under 233. So we are starting to get some lines available now. It looks like Detroit and Houston is open at 226. It's already down to 225, 224 on some books. I do like that game to go under. I didn't cap the total completely yet. And, Toronto is Detroit is back in Toronto. Dwayne Casey, if you know, you know. Team is 9-0 against the spread against since he's been the coach of the Detroit Pistons. They cover every game, and you are catching 12.5 points with the Detroit Pistons in this game today. Not telling you guys to bet Detroit, but in Toronto is coming off a straight up loss as a big home favorite the other day. I think they were 9-point favorites against the Pacers the other day. So should be a bounce back spot for them. But Casey and the boys, man, they get up every time they play against the Raptors. Jazz and Bucks under 233. I do like the Jazz and the Bucks to go under 233. I see it already going up to 234. To me, it looks like that's a line that probably is going to shoot up throughout the day. Don't like the spot. Both of those teams on the first leg of a back-to-back. The Milwaukee Bucks do play against the Denver Nuggets. They do play against the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. I know So it's the first leg of a back-to-back for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Jazz also have to travel to Sacramento, so I do like that game to go under. I did see a stat that said that since the start of the new year, the Jazz are something like 8-0 against the spread as a road favorite. They don't lose on the road as a favorite. Spread is already moving to 9. With Lloyd Marketing being ruled out, I couldn't talk anybody off. I think a team total under on the Utah Jazz side might be more in play. But I'm not looking for that game to go over. It feels like a game the Bucks probably gonna just try to get out the way. I'll share my notes on that game when I do the show later today, because I am looking at the total as well, and I do like that game to go under the total also. Spread looks like it's moving in Golden State's favor. It's going up to 5.5. In Chicago, already moving towards a 3, man. Get the bets in if you guys like it. Since we've been on the show, the line has already moved a point. Chicago is now 3-point favorites against Portland. And we got a total at 226 as well. So the books are anticipating some defense. Phoenix and Sacramento looks like it's opening at 239. It's crazy how this stuff happens while I'm doing the show live. It's actually pretty cool. Don't know what books. What's up with your books? I can see 6 games tomorrow with lines, totals, and props all out. Andrew, you gotta let me know which book you on, because when I started the show, none of that was available. I'm looking at the Wager Talk Live iScreen, and it's a lot of different books, and I don't see any. I didn't see any of those. Let's see what else. I got to get up out of here. Chris, what about Sacramento team total over and Sabonis triple double? I said I said a pivot to where if you don't want to lay the 4.5 points with the Kings, you can look at their team total to go over. It's going to be a high number. Let's see. It's 239 and they're 4.5 point favorites. So let's see. 240 divided by 2 is 120. Give them 2, subtract 2. 122.5 is probably what you're looking at for the Kings team total. And they probably get there. Kings been scoring. They've gone over their team total in every home game post All-Star break, I think, except the game against Boston, which was a super bad spot coming off that 5-game road trip. And it was the second leg of a back-to-back. So couldn't talk you off looking at the team total to go over as well. Ty says Celtics, Mavs, Bucks, Kings money line. I'm not putting together a whole bunch of money lines, but best of luck to you, man. Best of luck to you if you do that. Let's see. Did the Mavs game come out? God, the Mavs laying 13.5. I know Charlotte is depleted, but Jesus Christmas, that's a lot of points. All right, that's what I got for you guys, man. Best of luck to you guys today. The best bets are at the bottom. The lines are already moving. Chicago is moving already to 3 on some books. So if you want to ride with me there, you might want to get in now. Also laid the 4.5 with the Kings. Like I said, I think the line probably closes at 5.5 as well. I think they win the game by more than 2 possessions today. So that's what I got for you guys. Best of luck to you guys. No props for Marketing as he's questionable. I thought I saw Marketing got ruled out. Triple B. I think Lloyd Marketing got ruled out already. I could be tripping, but I want to say that's what I saw. Let me just check real quick. I could be tripping. Let me see. I didn't write it down. Yeah, he's already ruled out. 13 hours ago, he got ruled out, Triple B. Lloyd Marketing is not going to play in this game. So they're probably going to lose by 20, honestly. Best of luck to them tonight. They're going to need it. I think the Bucks try to get that game out the way early. Maybe even first quarter, first half, look at the Bucks. Because they, like I said, they do play Denver. So it kind of makes sense for them to get that game out the way early so that they can, play some of their bench guys and manage some of the starters' minutes. Because, like I said, they do have the big game against Denver tomorrow. That's going to be a really, really big game for them. And they don't look ahead either. I looked at the stats. When they're playing against a team that has a 50% win percentage or less, in the game before playing against a team that has a 55% win percentage or better, they typically still play well in that spot. I want to say something like 7-2 against the spread. So, couldn't talk you guys off that. It's a lot to like today, but 2 best bets are at the bottom of the screen. Like I said, just hit the like button for me if you guys can. Best of luck to you guys on all your action. Cash the NBA Crispy Captain Show will be live at 5:30 Eastern Time. Probably have a few more plays for you guys as we start to get some more of these numbers, and I can kind of break them down. Best of luck to you guys, like I said already. And let's have a great, productive cashing Friday. Let's cash a lot of tickets today, man. Best of luck to you guys.